Hi, Mike here with another Badonsky Buccaneers video fishing report. It's late June and Teresa, who you also know as Cookie, and I are headed offshore in search of snapper, but also on the hunt for some pelagics, including king mackerel, wahoo, and mahi if possible. First, we make a stop at the Wallace Wreck, only about 11 miles south of Perdido Pass. It's been a great location for me to find ruby lips for bait, but you can also catch snapper and occasionally amberjack, just to name a couple. We're using our Shimano reels with what commonly called a chicken rig or beeliner rig for terminal tackle. It's basically about 3 feet of 20-pound monofilament leader with a 4-ounce weight and a couple of 3/0 circle hooks attached with a spider hitch or dropper loop knots about 10 inches apart or so. It's typically attached with a swivel to your mainline. You can easily make these yourself or buy them already rigged and ready to go from your local bait and tackle shops. We're only in about 80 feet of water, so the 4-ounce weight is more than sufficient to get us to the bottom. We're using frozen cut squid for bait, but using cigar minnows or larger white baits will typically get you larger fish. Here I've caught my quarry, 2 ruby lips. A few more of these and we'll be on our way. Now, having moved on, we stopped by the 12-mile buoy just a couple miles away to put a king mackerel in the fish box. Quite naturally, as our regular viewers probably already know, I'm using one of the twins, a Penn Spinfisher V on a blue water Carnish rod, and I'm using a dead cigar minnow with a standard wire king mackerel leader, throwing it up near the buoy and letting it drift back with the current, feeding line out to promote a natural light drift. Having taken the bait, this king mackerel quickly runs under the boat and I have to work the rod around the bow and trolling motor before I can effectively fight the fish. Tricky considering the trolling motor is in anchor mode and the prop is spinning. One mistake and it could cut or snag my line and this king would be gone. I hooked a big king here a couple weeks ago, but today they're not as big, but these smaller fish are quite tasty. I put a couple of these in the fish box today, enough for some of my famous fish dip, and a little for the dinner table. This one managed to get tail hooked during the fight. And Teresa does a wonderful job getting them in the boat for me. Next, we head out to an area called the Nipple. It's about 40 miles southeast from Perdido Pass. We've been watching an area of blue water indicated by satellite images there, and made a run for it hoping to find pelagics and active weed lines. We found clean water and a very modest line along with a few other boats, but no fish were being caught while we were there, so in short order we moved on. From there we stopped at the Edge, a few miles back. This is a popular spot for bottom fishing for snapper, grouper, and amberjack, just to name a few. I got the trolling motor set up in anchor lock mode, and Teresa set up her Shimano Dakota, and I my old Calcutta. We're using the same style chicken rig we were using at the Wallace earlier, but with an 8-ounce weight, as we are now fishing in almost 200 feet of water. We almost immediately start catching vermilion snapper, also called beeliners and referred to as mingos by local anglers. We caught several of these tasty snapper along with a few ruby lips and small grouper. But the fight of the spot was when Teresa hooked and managed to land a small amberjack with her thin 3/0 circle hook. Way to go, Cookie! The circle hooks we're using on these chicken rigs are thinner in hopes of increasing our catch ratio for more timid fish which may otherwise be leader shy. But they are usually weaker and will usually pull or straighten if hooked up with a larger fish like this amberjack and fought hard. So she's giving this fish a modest fight to get him to the boat. Next, we travel several miles back to Florida state waters and try to add some red snapper to our quota today. We get set up on a private location and start marking several fish on the Lawrence. Teresa drops down her Dakota using fresh bonita we caught today on a standard snapper rig. Before long, she's hooked up with this nice sized triggerfish. This one gets to go back though, as the season is closed until August 1st of this year. She loses some tackle to the reef and a few fish to the taxman, a nickname we call the sharks, but does manage to get this legal sized red snapper to the boat in one piece. Nicely done. We lost a lot of fish and tackle to this location, but we still had a lot of fun and caught quite a few fish today. So with only one red snapper to show for this spot and a tired wife, we decide it's time to head in. We hope you found this video fishing report entertaining as well as informative. Remember though, we're experienced boaters, and I don't suggest novice boaters or anglers travel as far offshore as we do in our bay boat without proper equipment and an experienced friend or guide to take you. As always, safety first. Please fish responsibly, only keep what you intend to eat, properly release everything else. Remember to report your Alabama landed red snapper catch on the Outdoor Alabama mobile app or go to www.outdooralabama.com. We hope you've enjoyed our videos. Have a blessed day. Be safe out there.